All right, everybody, welcome back into Sports and Money with Ben Parker. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you're doing well wherever you're watching this from. Get into one of my favorite topics now of all time, that is franchise tags and fifth-year options in the NFL. And I want to talk about why some of the best players in the NFL are so adversely affected by these two elements, and also at the end why that's probably not going to change anytime soon, even though the current collective bargaining agreement is up in just a couple of seasons. Let's take three players specifically, and these are highlight players from the past couple of off seasons. All three of them are still facing it this off season. That is LeVeon Bell, Aaron Donald, and Kirk Cousins. I want to go through each of their contracts individually, then I want to peel back and talk about the larger sense of why this isn't working for several players, and then cover why it's probably not going to change there at the end. So let's start with this, LeVeon Bell. These first four seasons were his initial contract. Now, he was not drafted in the first round, so there was no fifth-year option for LeVeon Bell. He was drafted in the second round, 48 overall, out of Michigan State. Was not really expected to be a great player. People just thought he would be a contributor with a pretty solid upside to him, but he has turned into a spectacular player at running back. I think easily overall the best running back in the league when you look at everything that he offers on the field. LeVeon Bell has just exploded pretty much from his second season onward. He can run the ball, he can catch the ball, he can block, he can do all kinds of things. He's a really special player. The first four seasons, he averaged about $1 million a season, and as you know, for NFL contracts, that is nothing. Even for rookie contracts, that's just not a whole lot of money. It's what he was slotted at in that spot. But $749,000, $937,000 in his first two seasons. Then he's making $1 million flat and $1.2 million in his first four seasons. Now, like I said, he wasn't drafted in the first round, so no fifth-year option. You peel back, season 5, the season he just finished, he made $12.1 million. Now you might say, Ben, why in the world should I feel sorry for LeVeon Bell when he made $12.1 million last year? Didn't he cash in? The answer is yes, but the potential for injury is so great for LeVeon Bell at that running back spot. You know the careers are short. I talked about that in one of the earlier videos. The careers are very, very short at running back. Even if you are a successful running back, all it takes is one knee injury and your career could be over, especially at that running back spot. And so for LeVeon Bell, if he got injured at any point in last season, he has no guaranteed money. He would get that $12.1 million, and that is it. He would have no chance, conceivably, at a larger contract. He is really hoping to break the bank this year, and I would like to see Bell hold out if he doesn't get it, because the risk of injury is so great. And so for LeVeon Bell, he made just really chump change his first four seasons. That's where he was slotted at in the second round. That's what everybody else in the second round was getting from that season. But listen, that's just not much money at all, and everybody in the NFL knows that. And so even though he made 12.1, he's only made about $16 million, just short of $16 million in his entire 5-year NFL contract. I know a lot of you are saying, well, Ben, hand me $16 million, and I'd be totally happy with it. Yeah, but if you're in the NFL, you could be making a lot more money than that. LeVeon Bell is certainly hoping to make a lot more money than that. Let's move on. Let's look at Aaron Donald. Now, Aaron Donald was drafted in the first round. He was expected to be really, really good, and he has far surpassed every expectation that I think any NFL executive had of him. Aaron Donald, I think, is a generational kind of player. I really think he is that good. The numbers suggest that. The eye test suggests that. He's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. I hate to apply that to anybody early in their career, but if you were going to apply that to somebody, Aaron Donald would be the guy. He had a pretty good contract, being drafted early in the first round where he was slotted, $1.8 million his first year, moves on up to 2.3, 2.8, and then just north of $3 million. So during those first four seasons, you're looking at about $11 million that he made. That's almost equivalent to what LeVeon Bell made last year in Donald's first four seasons. So he had a better contract because he was drafted in the first round. But the fifth-year option on him, he doesn't get a choice in this. The Rams were able to just apply the fifth-year option to him because he was drafted in the first round. $6.9 million. That's a nice number, but still Aaron Donald could be making a lot more on the free agency market. Now, Here's what's happening for Aaron Donald as he heads into this offseason. He started to hold out last offseason. He skipped a lot of the camps, and I think actually missed the first week, if I remember correctly, but came back in, started to hold out, and then ended it. Basically, the Rams said, have faith in us. We'll give you a big contract. We'll negotiate with you in good faith. Aaron Donald did that. So here's what he's facing. If he and the Rams can't get together on a large contract this year, then they can just slap the franchise tag on him like the Steelers did with LeVeon Bell. Now, he's going to make a ton of money. Anytime you get the franchise tag applied to you, you pretty much get the average of the top 5 highest paid people at your position. So he would still make a lot of money, but he has the same injury risk. And this is where it's so prevalent for these NFL football players. The injury risk is so high. Even if you're making a lot of money in that 1 season or 2 seasons under the franchise tag, the risk of injury, you have no guaranteed money. This could be all he gets for his career, plus whatever he makes in the franchise tag year. So for Aaron Donald and for Le'Veon Bell, for all these guys, it's really important to get that big contract because of the guaranteed money that it brings with it. It's not just about how much money you're making in that 1 season, it's about the guaranteed money. So for Aaron Donald, he's really hoping to move past that franchise tag, not get hit with it at all. Now, let's move on to Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is about to make a ton of money, a boatload of money. He is going to be on the free agent market. Somebody is going to sign him. Several teams are going to be after him. They're going to be throwing all kinds of money at him. You might say, well, didn't it work out for Kirk Cousins? It has, but there was no guarantee that it would. His first 4 seasons, I want you to look at this, $863,000. He was drafted, I think, in the 4th round. $863,000 his first year. It moves down to $480,000, $570,000, then $824,000. That is a ridiculously small number for the amount of production that he was giving Washington during those first 4 seasons as a quarterback, especially during seasons 3 and 4 of that rookie contract. So what did they do? Well, Washington does not have a lot of stability in the front office, a lot of indecision about whether or not they wanted to sign him or keep him at all. Rumors that he and Jay Gruden weren't necessarily getting along, so they put the franchise tag on him. So he makes a boatload of money the past 2 seasons. You're looking right there between the $20 million and the $44 million of the past 2 seasons. So he has become a very rich man over the past 2 seasons. But again, had he gotten injured any time in his rookie deal, or during this year right here, or this year, no money's coming after. If he somehow injures a knee, or injures a back, or has to get retired because of too many concussions, any number of things, the guaranteed money just totally disappears. So for him to, even though he made a ton of money the past 2 seasons, for Kirk Cousins to be playing that way under 1-year deals is really risky. And his agent knows this, and he knows this, everybody in the NFL knows this. But for Kirk Cousins, even though he's making a ton of money, he's really losing out here alongside things. It worked out for him. He's going to be a rich man. He's going to make a ton of money. He's going to get a huge contract. It worked out for Kirk Cousins, but you understand that the risk of injury here is so large that these players really are running a very high risk here, and it's really not working out for them. They can be making so much more money with much higher guarantees. Now, they're not the only players this affects. I just picked out 3 of the most recent highlighters. This affects about 30 to 40 players each year. Anybody who's drafted in the 1st round, if they've done well in their first 4 rookie seasons, they're probably going to get hit with a 5th-year option. They don't have a choice in that. It's a team option. Anybody who's really playing well and the team just can't get together with them or doesn't want to get together with them on a long-term deal, they could very easily be slapped with franchise tags in back-to-back seasons like Kirk Cousins was, like Le'Veon Bell could be facing this offseason, like Aaron Donald could be facing this offseason. So really what you have here is a way for NFL teams to control a player for 7 or 8 years and really not offer him any guaranteed money at all. And then you might say, wait a minute, Ben, doesn't Major League Baseball have pretty much the same thing, where they can control a player for a very long period of time during the first part of his career? And the answer is yes. I don't like it in Major League Baseball any better, but let me say why it's a little easier to swallow for Major League Baseball. Number one, the risk of injury is just less. Can baseball players get injured? Can their careers be shortened very quickly? Yes, but we all understand the violent nature of football and how many different things there are that can shorten an NFL player's career. Number two, for Major League Baseball players, you understand that it's a developmental sport. A lot of times, for baseball players, seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, and even 5 are spent in the minor leagues developing. It's a very skill sport, and that is a developed skill sport. It is talent-based, but not as much talent-based as NFL players are. So really, even though you are a major league player, you are spending a lot of time being developed during those first 3, 4, and 5 seasons. It's very, very few players actually get to move straight to the minor leagues after only a season or two in the minors. So for those two reasons, it's easier to stomach in Major League Baseball, even though I don't like it there either. For NFL players, your very best seasons can often be years 2 through 5. For a major leaguer, your best seasons, especially as a hitter, could very easily be from seasons 8 to 13, and the statistics bear that out. For a major league hitter, very often their best seasons can come somewhere between the years of 7 or 8 to season 13. For NFL players, especially at the running back spot, your best years can very often come at years 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that second contract that you're looking for may or may not be there depending on how much age your body has shown and how much abuse you've been able to take over the years. So for these guys, it's a vastly different story. And listen, I'm not here to bash the NFL. I'm not here to bash NFL executives. If I was an executive of the Rams, of Washington, of the Steelers, or of any other NFL team, I would be doing exactly the same thing. You get the best deal you can for as long as you can. You keep the best players you can for as cheap as you can. I would be doing exactly the same thing that they are. It's just good business. But for the player side of this, and that's what we're looking at today, for the player side of this is very risky business for them. Their agents know that. Listen, DeMaurice Smith, who is the president of the NFL Players Association, he's the top executive. He knows this. He understands this. Why is it not likely to change? The collective bargaining agreement is up in 2020. Listen, this is all collectively bargained. This was not forced on the players. This is something that they put together years ago under the current collective bargaining agreement. This is something they decided on. This is part of an entire package. The NFL CBA, as all CBAs do, have a lot of different things that they look at. Doesn't DeMaurice Smith understand this? And yes, he does. He's a very smart guy. He understands this all too well. So why isn't this likely to change? Why isn't this likely to be any different under the next CBA? And there's two reasons for that. Number one, because of how few people this actually affects. Understand this, that the success rate of first-round players to actually be, say, a successful starter in the NFL is about 65 to 70%. I forget the exact percentage, about 65 to 70%. By the time you add those guys in, plus the guys who get hit with the franchise tag, fifth-year options plus franchise tags, you're looking at about 30 to 40 players a season. 30 to 40 players a season are affected by really these adverse conditions. Everybody else, and that's 1,700 players. That is 1,700 players in the NFL. There's roughly 1,700 players in the NFL. Everybody else has much bigger things, much different things that they're worried and concerned about. So you have about 30 to 40 players who are affected by this each year, and then you've got the rest of the 1,700 players who have other things on their plates to worry about, things that affect far larger percentages of NFL players. So that's reason number one. You might not see that change. It just doesn't affect a large enough pocket of players. Reason number two that you might not see this change is because, and listen, I heard this on the radio months ago. This was on Mike and Mike back when they were still talking about other things, and they just happened to hit on this for a few seconds and they moved on. They said, really, when you get down to the CBA and everybody's in the room discussing what they want, what they don't want, there's just not enough players who are affected by it in the first place. All the people that this would affect, every one of them, even if the rule were to change today, it would not affect them. It would not help them out. Those rules would be grandfathered in it would not help any of the current players. If you were to change this rule today, it would only help the rookies. It would only help the people who are coming in next year and the year after. It would not help anybody currently in the NFL. Now, this is where I would love to see. You always hear, when it's collective bargaining time, you always hear players say, we are doing this not just for ourselves, but for future players as well. The next generation of players, we want them to come along and enjoy some good things as well. This would really be in the next CBA, and listen, there's a vast array of issues. I don't know how important this is, even to the players who are affected by it, but this would be a golden chance to really do something for the next generation of players, and that is to correct either the franchise tags or the fifth-year options, or both. To adjust it, take it away, do something. That would really affect the next year of players. Whoever's in the room negotiating, there's no rookies in there. There's nobody coming along who's going to be affected by it. It's only players who have already been affected by it, and their time has moved on, and they're now looking at other things that would affect them. So that's what you've got here. It's affecting these three players, affecting a few other guys in the NFL as well. Don't think you're going to see that change. I think there's just bigger issues out there that a lot of teams and players are looking at, and even DeMaurice Smith, maybe even these guys are going to be looking at by the time their turn to collectively bargain rolls around. So thank you so much for listening. As always, the numbers come from Spot Track. If you want more of it, they've got more of it. Check them out. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for the views. Thank you for the subscriptions. Thank you so much for spending time with us. This is Sports and Money. I'm Ben Parker. Thank you.